Hey, Scott Austin here. In this video, I'm going to help you determine what CSS classes to add to your linear shopping experience's settings to get your buttons to display well with the rest of your store's theme and brand. So if I go into the settings tab here, there's some pretty intuitive settings here for the color of the pop-up and the text and the overlay color behind it. What may not be as obvious for some people is how to create the settings for the buttons. So down here at the bottom, we have classes for both of our buttons, right? So this one on the left here is going to be for the top button, and the one on the right is going to be for the bottom button. And when you load up the app, you're going to have two classes already showing the BTN and the button ones. And then if those display well for you, if your theme uses those classes, that's great. You can just go with that. But what you're probably going to want to do is add your own classes depending on what theme you're using. So let me show you a couple of examples in some stores of how the buttons can look, right? So here, this store has a blue and orange color scheme. And when I click the add to cart button, you can see I've got one button is blue and the other one is orange. The store here is heavily green, and adding to the cart, I get a green button and another green button. This door is black and gray, so when I add to cart, I get an orange button, just like you see in the search button up top here, the action button. And the bottom button here is actually, it kind of looks like a text link. I like this effect where it's gray on a gray background, and then when I hover over it, I actually see that it's a button. And then here in Bixby, they have a dark blue and a light blue color scheme. So when I click add to cart, I get a dark blue and a light blue. Now I could have, had classes that had the same, usually add to cart, red color. But these, I decided on these stores going more with the branding colors and not the action color from the cart. So on Bixby, what I did is, let's close that up for a second. I'm going to open up a new tab here. We've got the contact us, and that you can see here, this theme has two buttons. And this is the Flex theme, and it has a couple different classes for buttons. When you go to the theme settings, there's a section for buttons, right? And there's, the dark blue one here is called the primary button. And in the theme settings, this is called the secondary button. So you can see in our modal that we had, that's gone now at the moment, we had the dark blue button and the light blue button. So what I did to figure out what classes to add to my theme settings here, and it was button primary and button secondary, the way you're going to do that is right now I'm in a Chrome browser on a Windows PC, and most other browsers have this same type of functionality. What I do is I hover over my button and I right click on it. And I click on this inspect option. And what it does is it opens up this behind the scenes view of the web page. Now I can right click on that inspect, and it takes me right to the button. So this is the HTML that renders this button. And you can see there's this thing here called class. And it has, a few classes in here, and one of them is button primary. So if I just, copy that, go over here and paste it in and add it, and I already have button primary added, so adding it's just going to show it a second time. But if I add it, now we're going to add that class to this button here, the top button. And then you go back to your theme that you're looking at, the page you're looking at, right click on the light blue button, inspect that, and that's where you'll see that button secondary is the class here. So then I go back to my settings and type in button secondary. So what I want to do next is just bring up a random website. I'm going to go to Allbirds just because that's a brand name that I know, and I read an article about them today. And they're a Shopify store. I have no idea what theme they're in or anything like that. So here, right, they've got two buttons, Shop Men and Shop Women. If you wanted your buttons, if these guys were adding the app to their store, they would right click, inspect, and here you can see the class is JSX, blah, 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 button, and I bet you button inverse is the class that drives this color scheme. But they could type in button, dash dash inverse into their settings as they add it. Um, and then here you can see it's probably going to be the same one because they have the same color effects. And let's here we got so these were white to start with and gray on hover. These start off as gray and are white on hover. And if I go and inspect that, that's probably button default is the class. I can see it right here, button default. So in any Shopify store, you'll be able to go in on the front end of the website, just like I'm doing here on a site that I don't have any, Shopify admin access to, and see what classes are being used in your store, and use those classes to drive the display of your buttons and your linear shopping experiences pop up on the add to cart action. So once again, you type the classes in here, hit the add button, and you should be good to go. Hopefully this helps you out. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.